Okay, in this next problem we have a slightly different type of problem. We usually call these mixture problems, and you're only given one of them in your homework set. So it's kind of hard to get used to all the different variations of it, but let's step through it. A candy company wants to produce 15 kilograms of a special 40% fat content chocolate to conform with customer dietary demands. So we know that the end result of this is 15 kilograms of 40% fat content chocolate. And so this time I'm going to make a diagram. I have this little vat here of chocolate that is 40% fat content, and it's a total of 15 kilograms. Now, that's the end result. To obtain this, a 50% content imported chocolate is combined. So we're going to, let's finish the sentence, with a 20% fat content domestic chocolate in a special melting process. So with this type of problem, I usually make 3 vats. Now, I know that one of them is 20%. One of them, let's start with the first one, is 50% fat content. So I write 50% fat here. And the other one is 20% fat content. And I want to combine them into this third vat to get 15 kilograms of 40% fat content. Now, I can call this X. How much chocolate am I going to take from the first vat? X kilograms. How much chocolate am I going to take from the second? Y kilograms. Do I know anything about the total? I do. I know that X plus Y has to equal 15, and by solving for Y as we've done before, we're going to get Y is equal to 15 minus X, and we'll come back to that at a later point. Now, the model that's used here is a little bit different than the previous ones, and it might take some getting used to. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the fat content in each of those 3 quantities. So, I know that the fat from 50% plus the fat from the 20% has to equal the total fat. Now we're talking about chocolate here, but really the key to solving this problem is not so much the chocolate, but the fat content in each of the 3 different types of chocolate. The first one has 50% fat content, the second one 20% fat content, and the third one, the resulting one, 40% fat content. So how much fat is there going to be from the first? Well, it's 50% times however many kilograms. So let's make sure we understand that X is actually X kilograms and Y is Y kilograms. And so we end up with X plus Y kilograms has to be 15 kilograms. So if we take X kilograms from the first vat and half of it is fat, then half of X will give us our the number of kilograms of fat from the first vat. The second one, well, if there is 20% fat content in the second one and we have Y kilograms of chocolate, then 20% of those kilograms is going to be fat content. And finally, in the end, we're not told specifically what the final fat content is, but we know that it's 40%, and we know that in the end we have 15 kilograms. So we're going to end up with half of the chocolate brought in from the 50% fat content. 20% or 1/5 of the chocolate is fat from the second vat, and the total is going to be 0.4 times 15. So let's go ahead and set this up. Now we're ready to swap out. Remember that we have y is 15 minus x. So we're going to be able to construct an equation that has only one unknown. And I'll use my calculator to find 0.4 times 15, which is 6. And what that really means is that out of the 15 kilograms, 6 kilograms of that is fat content. Not a very appetizing thought, but it is. That's how much fat is in the 6 out of 15 kilograms is fat. Anyway, so we're going to multiply out, and we get 0.5x. Now we'll use our calculator to do 0.2 times 15, and we get 3. So 0.2 times 15 is 3. 0.2 times negative x is negative 0.2x, and that has to equal 6. We can combine like terms. 0.5x minus 0.2x. Again, use our calculator. 0.5 minus 0.2 equals 0.3. X plus 3 equals 6. 0.3x. Sorry, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides, and we end up with 0.3x equals 3. Dividing both sides by 0.3, and we get that x is equal to 3 divided by 0.3 is 10. And that's 10 kilograms. Well, what does that refer to? That 10 kilograms is the number of kilograms of 50% fat content chocolate that we're going to add to our mixture. So we want 10 there. But we know that there's only a total of 15, so if we use 10 from the first vat, we can only take 5 from the second vat, and so we would get a solution to that. That is 10 kilograms of 50% content fat, 10 kilograms of 50% fat content chocolate, plus 5 kilograms of 20% fat content chocolate added together are going to give us 15 kilograms of 40% fat content chocolate. And if we wanted to double check that, we would multiply, go back to our equation, half of the 50% fat content chocolate, which is 10 kilograms, plus 20% of the, sorry, yes, exactly, 20% of the 20% fat content chocolate, which is, again, we're talking about total fat content here, and we multiply these out on our calculator, and these should give us a total of 6. So half of 10, we know that that's 5, and 1/5 of 5, well, we know that that's 1. You can use your calculator to double check. And does it check out? Yes, 6 is equal to 6. And so we know that that has to be the right distribution. So one of the key things in this problem is understanding that we're working with the kilograms of fat from each of these 3 different types of chocolate. The fat, kilograms of fat from the first plus the kilograms of fat from the second is going to equal the kilograms of fat in the final product. And that's what we're using to set up our equation. It's a little bit different than the previous ones, and because of that it's a little trickier, but hopefully you can look at the solutions, you can replay the video, and hopefully it's going to make sense.